check this out, guys. We're out here. We're going to be doing a head-to-head comparison of the DNT The One 7-35 and the Arken Optics EP5 7-35. So first look, you guys. So first look is they almost look very similar. So we're going to start with the back and move forward. The first thing that I noticed is different is going to be the one has a built-in throw lever. You can take it off if you want to. It's just 2 screws. But then the Arken, you have to buy a separate throw lever to add. So I prefer the DNT's throw lever. I don't know why all optics don't just come with the an option to put a throw lever on there. Some optics I've seen have come with the option to move the lever to like 3 different spots, and then a lot of them just have it, which an advantage of the Arken is if you wanted to move it, you could just move it to the next spot. So say if you didn't like this spot, you could move it over so that it wasn't in your way. This one's set here so that you can run the bolt and it doesn't interfere when it's all the way down. And then if you twist it to all the way full power, it's out of the way over here. And then this one, all the way, it does avoid the bolt. It's pretty close. And then all the way turned up, it's about at the 9 o'clock here. So moving forward here, both of these have a bubble level. Both of them have the same Arken rings. The turrets, they're very similar in size. Actually, they're identical in size because I use the same Kenton Industries turret tape. If you haven't seen Kenton Industries, go check them out. But I've used the same turret tape on both of these. One thing I like about the Kenton Industries turret tapes over others, they have a little bit larger number and it doesn't hold the color. So if you mark on here with your markers, it doesn't absorb any of the color, so it's easier to erase. But the difference is up top, they have the same 0 stop screw. They're just different on the what kind of screw it is. This one here, the DNT has like a Torx head bit, and then your Arken Optics takes just a regular Allen head bit. Another difference is the knurling or the grip on the turrets are a little bit different. So, and then moving on up, the illumination. What DNT did was they countersunk the cap and put a coin slot on the end so that you don't untwist it when you're moving your illumination. Arken, on the other hand, on their illumination cap, you can actually take it off when you're trying to adjust the illumination. You can actually bump it and take it off of there. And if you tighten it up too tight, you won't ever get it off. So that's one downfall of the Arken, is the illumination cap, where the DNT has a little bit of an advantage. So the parallax, they both go down to 25 yards, and they look almost identical as far as the writing goes. They both have these little square blocks between the yardages over here. On the windage turret, the DNT is set at a 45-degree angle, so you can see it when you're standing over it, and it actually lines up well and easy to see. And the Arken, it's easy to see and lines up well, but it's at your traditional 90-degree, so it's directly on the side, versus the one being up here on the top at a 45-degree. Moving forward, they're both the same size out front, 56mm objective. The Arken has their name on the side right here, and DNT has their name on the side right here. But very similar scopes. actually the exact same size, same weight, same feel. We're going to go into it later and I'll show you the differences in the reticle, but on the outside almost identical, with the one big major difference being the DNT comes with a throw lever and you have to buy a separate throw lever for the Arken Optics. And then the Arken has a different set screw, Allen screw, and then the zero stop has a Torx bit. So I do think the Torx bit holds up a little better as far as in the name, as far as the torque you put on it. But I do think you can strip out the Allen screws a little bit easier. That's why DNT went with the Torx bit. So I got some targets set up downrange. I have a 50 yard, a 100 yard, a 300 yard, and a 600 yard target. They're all identical. Both of these rifles that the scopes are on today are both 22 long rifle. So this is a Bagheera and this is my Voodoo. So we won't be shooting out to 600 yards today, but I'll go ahead and run through the zoom range on each one to show you the reticle size, and everything like that. So let me get my camera set up and let me show you the reticle and what it looks like downrange through each one of these scopes. That's 600 yards, 35 power, DNT Optic The One. .35 power, 600 yards, DNT Optic The One. That's 20 power. That's 10. And that's 7. Come back into the 300 yard. That's 300 yards on 7 power, DNT Optic. That's 20 power at 300 yards, DNT Optic. That's going to be 35 power at 300 yards with the DNT Optic. Zoom back out to 7. Move over to the 100 yard. So this is 100 yards, DNT Optic, 7 to 35, we're at 7 power. Start zooming in. There's your 20 power. DNT Optics, 20 power. There's 35 power with the DNT Optics at 100 yards. Back out. There's 20. There's 10. And there's 7. Move on over to the 50 yard. So this is 50 yards. DNT Optic, 7 power. Push it on up. That's 10 power. Reticle size, it kind of gets washed out. There's 20 power with the DNT Optic, 7 to 35. And then there's 35 power. So that's 35 power, DNT Optics The One at 50 yards. So this is the Arken Optics 7-35 EP5 Gen 2. This is 600 yards at 35 power. We're going to come back to, there's 20 power, then there's 10 power, then there's 7 power. 600 yards, EP5, 7-35. 10 power, 20 power, 35 power. So on this one, on the reticle, it only lights up right in the middle with the 4 lines in the square. I'll post a picture of what it looks like when it's lit up. But let's zoom back out to 7 power, and let's move over to the 300 yard target. So there's our 300 yard target with the Arken at 7 power. Zoom you in a little bit. That's going to be 20 power. The reticle is a little bit thicker, and the reticle does only have 1/2 mil marks. So if you're using this as a hunting scope, I would actually think that the Arken Optics would be a little bit better hunting scope. Either one would be just fine for hunting though. And zoom all the way in to 35 power. That's 35 power, 300 yards with the Arken Optics. Zoom back out to 7. There's 7 power. So we're going to come in to 100 yards. Again, all these have the same target to make it consistent across the board. But there's 100 yards with the Arken 7 power, 20 power, and 35 power. So if you see it moving, the focus moving a little bit, I'm trying to parallax it out to get the best image quality possible at each yard line. So there's 35 power Arken Optics, 100 yards. Each square is 100 inch. Each square is 1 inch. So we're going to come back out. There's 12, 10, 8, 7. Push it on over here to the 50 yard target. This is 50 yards with the Arken Optic. This is 7 power, 50 yards Arken. That's 20. And that's 35. It's 35 yards with the Arken Optic at 50 yards. Those are 22 bullet holes in that, if you wanted to know. Zoom out. That's 20 power. That's 10 power. And then that's 7 power. So that's every yard line. I'll do a little bit of shooting here. This is the Bagheera with the Arken Optics. This is a Bagheera B14R. It's in a Masterpiece Arms chassis with the Arken Optics on top. I'm shooting the SK rifle match in the red box. And this is at 50 yards. So 35 power. Try to get a little group right there. So that first shot must have been a cold bore. So let's adjust. Actually, we need to come down. And we need to come to the left. Come down some more. I think that's getting in there. Let's switch over to this one. Good shot. May bring it up a tenth. Try it down here. Well, we'll try it right here underneath. Oh, that was perfect. I'm going to use that dot as an aiming point. Off this magazine in that little group right there. We're going to call that 0. So this is the Bagheera B14. At 100 yards. I'll send the first one towards the middle. This is bubble leveled, so even though it looks a little crooked, the target's just crooked. I got it at 1.5 mils of elevation. Bagheera B14, Arken EP5 7-35. This is on 35 power. So I'm going to come up to 1.6. I'm going to put it down here in this corner. I'm going to just finish off the magazine here in this one group. think that's it. And that's the EP5 with the Bagheera shooting SK rifle match in the red box. So this is the Arken Optics EP5, the Arken EP5 7-35. This is 35 power. That plate is a 18 by 30 at 220 yards. I have dialed up to 9 mils, shooting SK rifle match. So I don't see where we hit at, but I heard it hit. Let's send another one. Is that it down there at the bottom? That one and that one? We low. I think those are it right there. I'll when I play back the footage, I'll let you know. I can find it. That's it. Okay, so this is the Arken EP5. We are at 330 yards. This is a Bagheera B14R. I'm dialed to 14 mils with the SK rifle match. It looked about a 1 mil to the right. Bouncing all around it there. Come up another 4/10, see if we can see it. Just under it. Let's dial up to 15, holding 1 mil left. Impact. I don't have any data on this gun, so this is how long it takes me to get on the plate with no data. And that's it. So I'm going to move over to the Voodoo and the DNT Optics, the One 7-35. So this is the DNT Optics 7-35, the One on my Voodoo rimfire. This is 50 yards, 12 power. We're going to go up to 35 power. You see the difference in the reticle size? This one's a little thinner, but it's got more detail as far as every 2/10. So I'm going to start down here. Start a little group, see if we're zeroed. Had to move the rifle to get more comfortable. Let me adjust the camera back in view there. Come over here, see if we can't print a little group. So this is 100 yards with the DNT Optics The One on 35 power. Voodoo running SK long range match at 1.6 of elevation. Move over here, shoot another 5-shot group. So this is DNT Optics The One 7 to 35. This is the 220 yard plate. This is 20 power. So that's 35 power. This is 20 power. And I'm dialed to 7.8 of elevation. Hold a little wind. Shots, 220 yards. So this is DNT Optics The One at 330 yards. We are dialed to 14 mils of elevation. I'm gonna go a 1 mil to the left for wind. Looks like it might have been just low. Try it again. So I'm gonna come up. Let's come up a 1/2 mil. Impact. Still low. I'm gonna come up another 3/10. 3 more. The impact will now 14.5 mils for 330 yards. DNT Optics The One 7 to 35 at 35 power. Those are hits, and that's out.